Okay, whoops, trying to get this, there you go. Pardon my arm there. Just trying to get the, so you can see the tray. I thought what we do today is work with some acrylic skins. That's all that leftover paint, where you see that I always put a piece of freezer paper underneath my paintings, and then it catches all these drips and makes these really pretty paint skins. Again, you guys know I hate to waste anything that would normally go in the garbage. I love to turn it into something else. So, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to, and this is just one of many ways to use your acrylic skins, but we're just gonna make some simple little cabochon jewelry with our skins. These are very small pieces, very inexpensive kit that I got off Amazon. You can get them a lot more elaborate with filigree and all kinds of different sizes and shapes. I don't happen to have any of those right now. I've just got that, so that's what we'll work with today. Okay, so the main tools you're going to need for this is, of course, your skins, which we're going to talk about in just a couple of minutes. You're going to need something to cut your skins with. You can use scissors. You can use an X-Acto knife, utility knife. You just want to be able to cut a really neat piece. And then you're going to need some glue. We're going to use diamond glaze. You're going to need the two pieces here. At least for the ones we're going to do today, you need the two pieces. Now I've seen where some people don't use the cabochon, they just use the tray and put the art in it and then cover it with resin. We're going to use the cabochon with it, the clear cabochon. Just because that's a lot faster and easier. I don't know if you can see. And then here's the tray that goes with it. Okay. So these are just little stainless steel trays with the little round cabochons. They're probably about 8 millimeters. No bigger than 10, but I think they're 8. Because at the time I was going for something cheap that I could show on a video. So let's talk a little bit about the skins. Okay, this particular skin, I don't know if you've seen the video with the painting that I did. It has this kind of 70s fabric design feel to it. But this is just what dripped off of the edge of the painting when I was tilting it. And I keep these, I cut a piece of freezer paper and put them on my tray underneath the painting so that I can capture that. And then I just let that dry just like I let the painting dry. And then I store them away. I have just a Rubbermaid tub over here and I just put these right in it. So I've got this one, just got some really interesting designs. This one, which I did a painting and a bottle, where I had the canvas on the freezer paper and then a bottle above that. We painted on the bottle and then the paint fell down, hit the canvas, tilted the canvas. This is what came off. This has got several pieces on it that from different pieces of art. So we'll pick something. This one I've saved. I really liked what happened over here. It's kind of got the pinks and stuff going with it. This one, I didn't even get the popsicle sticks off, to tell you the truth. I took the painting off, in fact, just probably today, and then stuck this in the bin. And it's got a lot of green to it. Okay, a little copper. And then there's this one, which my kids and I came up and spent one afternoon where we just made acrylic skins. We each took a tray with the freezer paper, and then we poured the paint directly onto the freezer paper and tilted it around just to get some acrylic skin with some different colors. This is the one that I did. This is the one that my daughter did, which I think is probably by far the best we did that afternoon. And for my son's was this one. And see, so we just made the skin for the sake of making the skin. So we can use that skin on another art project. And a lot of people do that. They just make the skins and then they use them on their art projects. Normally we don't. Normally we are doing an art project and the skin is the byproduct. So, and I think I'm going to make a couple of pieces out of this one here to start with. So, first thing I do is I take my little bezel piece here. First I peel off my skin so that it's not attached to the freezer paper. Now I have seen some people who actually will, you know, they do it on freezer paper or parchment paper or whatever, and they will actually just go ahead and make that a part of the piece of jewelry, and they just cut around it. But when you're peeling your skin, when you're pouring your skin, you want it to be on shiny surface. So, because it'll peel up easier. Freezer paper, the shiny surface of parchment paper, on plastic. There's one jewelry maker that I really enjoyed watching, and she does them directly on lids of those clear plastic tubs that have the clear plastic lids, and she just has a bunch of the lids and just pours the paint directly on those, and then she peels them off and saves them in between wax paper. And she just keeps, you know, keeps hundreds of them. So anyway, so I'm going to peel off at least enough to get the areas that I'm looking for here. And it needs to be big enough that I can put my cabochon on it and get full coverage. See, so that little piece would give us short. It would leave us short. Now this little piece, if I could get the whole thing up, would be perfect. But that's why I go ahead and I peel it off first before I look for my piece. And you just have to work at it. You work slow. You don't want to rip it by getting in too much of a hurry. You work on the edges. Now I have seen people use these skins in collages. A lot of people do those junk journals where they're doing a lot of, and they'll use parts of these on their either the cover or on pages, little pockets, things like that. I've seen them used in bookmarks. Okay. I've seen them used on, of course, plenty of the jewelry, the necklaces, bracelets, earrings. I've seen them decoupaged onto things. I've even seen somebody create a big acrylic skin and then take it and wrap it around a tumbler and decoupage it onto the tumbler and then resin it. Now look at this side of the skin. This is the top side, which would be the same side of that you'd see on the painting. But if you could turn the painting over and look at it through the back, this is what you'd see. And see, that is really, that's actually got more interest, in my opinion, than this one. So I may use the back side of this one. This was the top of this one, and then there's the back. So you just never know what you're going to get. But I think I've got some pieces here that I can use. And I'm going to get, I keep one of these chopping mats. Actually, I've seen people buy these Dollar Tree chopping mats and use these to pour their acrylic skins because one side is real shiny. And okay. Now, I think after looking at it, I think I like the back side better than what I was going for, which was on the front side. So, now I'm going to take this, and before we actually glue it onto anything, I'm going to clean it because I've got my fingers all over it and I'm getting fingerprints on it. So I'm going to clean it before we actually put any glue on it anywhere. Let's see, I could get, whoops, hang on. There's my little bag with them. And this seems like a really small piece of paint here, but, oh, and that's a nice view. What you do is you move these things around till you find the view that you want to be your necklace, okay? And look at that. I mean, those are all pretty. And if I were going to be doing a lot of them to sell at a festival or something, I could get probably about 5 pieces out of just this one tiny little skin of these small ones. Now, these small necklaces you'd be selling really inexpensively. And then here's one that there's not a single piece on here that's big enough to be an entire piece, but look what would happen if you were to collage it together. See, you could still get another piece out of that. And then you've got this side over here, which has got some really pretty colors. I like that. It's got some cells in it, got some interest. Or if we flipped it over, look at that. Isn't that pretty? And they're just like little tiny works of art. So, I think first I'm going to want to take, I think, one right here. Now it's got a little cut on it, but I don't think that's going to be a problem when we get it all glued and put into place. So I think that's going to be the first one that I take. I love the cells that we have going there. I love that it's got the yellow and the green and the orange and the white, and it's just, it's got a lot of interest there. Okay, so I'm trying while I'm cutting to stay to the outside and not get too close, because it's okay to have a little extra, but you don't want it to be short. You never want to have your piece not have enough coverage. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm going to use the scissors and take that down just a, whoops, to a little bit smaller to work with there. Let me see, where is my, here. Okay, so I'm going to take a wipe and I'm going to wipe this really clean, make sure I get all the fingerprints off of it, make sure that it's not wet. So I'm going to follow that with a dry paper towel, polish it up real good. Okay, because we certainly don't want to do that. Okay. Yeah, I think that's just light reflecting in it, which is good. Just looks like something else. All right, and then let me see. Okay, let's see. Let's get my Diamond Glaze. This is a brand new bottle. Okay, so I'm going to put that directly on my cabochon. Get it. Make sure that it covers it. It's got some little bubbles in it, but we're going to press those out. Okay. this right into place, and I'm going to press. And I'm going to press. Now, this is not necessarily the way to do it. This is the way that I am doing it. Okay? Now this stuff adheres pretty fast. Now what I'm going to do with that is I am going to slide that over out of my way and let that dry. Oh boy. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Okay, I have a little flag on the clay, but it's nothing that we can't fix. When I went to pick it up, some of the glue stuck to the mat and took a piece of the paint with it. And that was a piece of the paint that I needed to be on the cabochon, so we wouldn't have the silver tray showing through. Now, the wonderful thing about abstract paintings is when you slide something else in there, it's not going to, when you slide something else in there behind it, it's not going to really, on an edge like this, change the appearance. So I'm just gluing that right on behind it. Okay. There you go. All right. So this little thing is going to sit here, and I'm going to have it, oops, flipped over so that it can dry. I'm not worried about glue getting on the cabochon. That's easily scraped off and cleaned off. I just want to make sure that the picture stays, the artwork stays on it. So I'm going to do another one here. This one we'll be doing for a little more color. Okay, again, I wiped it with a wet baby wipe, so I'm going back over it with a dry paper towel. Okay. You want a clean surface. That's always important. Just like I'm going to have to clean my paintings before I can use them. Okay. Here we go. And that one's got, Now what I could do is I can layer them here because I like what's happening up here, but there's not enough. And again, these skins are so easy to work with because of this. There's not enough paint up in the area where I really wanted it to be. So I'm going to layer them so that I can get that little area. And have that interesting piece with all those colors. Okay, so again, diamond glaze. Now, there are plenty of other glues. You just want to make sure whatever glue you use dries clear and hard. Okay, that's really the key to your choice of adhesives. It needs to dry crystal clear. You don't want anything that's going to dry cloudy. Okay. And while we're at it, I'm I'm going to make use of that layering technique again, because there's an area down here that I really want, but it's again on an edge. So we're going to basically mosaic something together. Okay. And as you're seeing how what little pieces I have here. So, you know, let's say, I don't know, for these little necklaces, they're really small. So, you know, you sell them for $5 to $8 a piece or something like that. But if you're preparing for a festival, or, you know, selling your work, having that ability to get another, I don't know, $40, $50 out of the paint that fell off your painting can really help your bottom line. You know, you hear about the starving artist. Well, starving artists have got to find better ways. They've got to find ways to stretch every sale into a way to make money, feed themselves. So jewelry's a hot ticket item right now. Make your paintings because you love them, sell them, but then save the paint that falls off and make jewelry or some other things, key rings or something else, that to help subsidize. I mean, these little things, I did a spreadsheet to figure out the cost. I always do whenever I'm doing something that I might turn into something I sell later. And for these little ones like this, I mean, you know, you're only going to sell them for, say, $5 to $8, but you've got about 60 cents in it by the time you add a cord. So, I mean, that's a pretty good markup. And not every customer that comes by your booth is going to be looking for, you know, a painting, you know, worth $60 to a couple $100. Not everybody comes in with budgets like that. And I know when we go to craft shows as a family, you know, I'm always looking for something that the kids like, that I can spend very little on. And my daughter's really into jewelry, so she would be the one who would stop there and want to buy several necklaces, or a necklace and a pair of earrings, or a bracelet, a key ring to hook onto her book bag or her purse. So, and those would be the kinds of things that my husband would be willing to pop for too, because they're not expensive. So, while these are drying, we'll come back and I'll show you what we do next. Okay, I'm back. They have dried enough that I can work with them. I've gone ahead and cut out around the cabochon. All I did was I picked up the cabochon and I took my scissors, just regular old scissors, and I just cut around the edges. Okay. I've got them laying here. There were a couple of them, because remember I was using the edges of some of the painting where there really wasn't a big enough space to fit a full cabochon. So I pieced them together on the back of the cabochon. So you have, like, I don't know if you can see this one. Let's see if I can get it into focus. Okay, this has got more than one piece glued back here, see, to cover up the void space that was showing through there. So when I put the glue, I'll go back in and I'll add some more glue to make sure that that's going to stay well, because the last thing you want is your cabochon to be slipping out of the tray. But I mean, that just goes to show that you can use the smallest of pieces and put them together to come up with something really interesting and beautiful. So so next, which I've got one, where is it? There you go. One finished here. And all I did, which is what we're going to do next, is I took the tray and I put some of the glue, same glue, Diamond Glaze, in the tray, made sure it covered it well, and then I pushed this in and squeezed it really hard. See, I've got paint all over my fingernails and everything. Pushed it really hard to make sure that it adheres well. And then when I get done with these, I'm going to lay them, put them on a tray to let them cure before I put them on a cord, and lay something heavy on them, like a book, across them to make sure that that's pushing down in, so that while this glue is curing, it'll get a really good tight fit. All right, so I've got my popsicle sticks here so that I try to keep from going out of frame, because I can't see on the camera while I'm talking to you. Okay, so I take the tray and I'm just going to wipe it down real good to make sure that, you know, it's clean. Then I'm going to put some glue on it, again with the Diamond Glaze. Come on, you can't have glue shut already. Okay, and then I've got to decide which way I'm going to want this to face, and I push it in. Okay, and we're going to squeeze it together, make sure it fits way down in. There we go. Ah, glue's popping out everywhere. That's perfect. Okay, that means I've got it down in there good. I'll wipe away some of the glue that's popped out on the outside, although that's going to scrape off real easily once it's dry, so I'm not terribly worried about it. I just don't want it to stick to whatever I set down on top of it. Okay, and push. I'm squeezing it, making sure I'm getting a good hard fit. I like that the glue popped out, because that tells me that I've got enough glue in there that the entire back is covered. Okay. And there's another one. So I'll do one more on camera. I don't think you need to see me do 10 of them here. Again, wipe it off to get the oils off. Oils and will sometimes keep glue from adhering properly. Make sure it's dry. You don't want any moisture in there. And see, I've got all these little pieces now left over, and they're really tiny. None of them are big enough by themselves to really make a necklace or anything, but I'm not going to get rid of those. I will put them in a little container in my skins tub, and we will use them for something later on down the road. I'm not a hoarder, I'm a crafter. That's what I like to tell my husband. I don't throw away anything, but it's because I think I can use it. Okay. And this one, I think I want that yellow at the top. So I'm going to push that in, give it a good hard squeeze. Okay, make sure it's going to stay in there nicely. And let's see, am I where you can see it, or am I just showing you my fingers? Here we go. Let's see, I've got 3 of these finished. Now I got 10 of those cabochons with just those little pieces of paint. I didn't add any more paint, any more skins to it than what we had already looked at. And I managed to get 10, and they're all interesting, unique, and little works of art all by themselves. So I will finish these up, and then I will find a cord and show you the cords that I get. Get them from Amazon. They're really inexpensive. Get like 100 of them for, I don't know, something like $10 or something like that. You can get them in black. I've also gotten them in multicolors. I generally go with the black cord, but since I've got my adopted daughter and my foster daughter, they love the bright colors and stuff, so I got those for when I'm doing necklaces for them, so, or their friends. Okay, so I'm going to finish these up so you don't have to watch me do the next, 7 of them, and then I'll come back and show you the finished product. Okay, there we go. Anyway, I got 10 more gifts, or 10 necklaces to sell, whatever it is you do with your art, out of this little bitty, about 3 or 4 inches by 3 or 4 inches worth of paint. Just keep that in mind. Save your skins. Save your skins. If you don't want to make jewelry, you can make magnets, you can make key rings, you can use them for collages, use them on, when any of you who do things like altered dominoes or altered Jenga pieces, altered Scrabble tiles, really anything. The sky is the limit. Your imagination is the only thing limiting you. So, have a good day. Go out and do something creative, and please consider liking, subscribing, and please comment. If you comment, I can add you to the hat for the drawing for when we reach 25 subscribers. So I will be doing that, and I'll see you next time. Bye.